that you can tell your listeners right now. You heard it first. If you missed it in the Legislative Assembly, well, you're going to hear it first here on Straight Talk with Ruth Ann on Star 92.7. A very big deal for persons who perhaps may be a little overburdened by the arrears on their car registration, and as a means of saving that vehicle from being a derelict vehicle and an eyesore to residents and neighborhoods and otherwise, and of course to reduce the government coming along and picking it up and taking it to the landfill to be squashed into itsy-bitsy little pieces.
Yes.
There is an opportunity for your listeners who may fall in that category under the Traffic Amendment Bill that I'm happy to talk about.
Yes.
Certainly in Prospect, but it has been an issue that we have seen across all 19 constituencies, and that is, of course, the issue of trash, the general uncleanly nature. Certainly we're grateful for whether it be Earth Day or, of course, the number of individual organizations that do cleanup exercises throughout the community. I know in Prospect, together with the Prospect and Red Bay Community Group, we've held at least 4 community individual cleanups for trash to make our neighborhoods more presentable and instill a bit more pride. But people can deal with the small trash items that they can put in trash cans. But another problem has become those derelict vehicles, those ones that we see on the side of the road that are, in half disrepair. Others look like East LA with, they're there on rims, and they seem to get smaller and smaller and less parts each passing day.
Yes.
But it's an eyesore and it's an environmental hazard, amongst other things. So how do we arrive at this point? Well, you have some folks who just don't care about the law.
Right.
We'll put them off in
another category.
In the what list category in a corner.
Yes.
That you deserve to have your car turned into beer cans or something else, something more useful.
Yeah.
But there are others who genuinely have run into financial challenges. You're not able to pay your car registration for 1 year. 1 year turns into 2 years. 2 years turns into 3 years. And after a while, of course, your car sits. There's some mechanical problems. That carries a cost to it. So the car just sits and sits and sits.
Yes.
And
the back fees accumulate.
The back fees continue to accumulate. Again, persons know they can go in and turn in their registration plates, but most people don't. There have been some costs that we have viewed as being restrictive to encouraging people to come in and cancel their registration. So the amendments, one of the most significant amendments, I think, in the Traffic Amendment Bill 2018 was to create a solution, at least a partial solution, to reducing the number of derelict vehicles, but also recognizing that there are persons who, again, in some cases, at no fault of their own, are just in financial straits, and they would be driving the car if they could afford it.
Right.
So what we've done is a couple of things. I think the biggest thing is that once the Traffic Amendment 2018 passes, that is, once the governor signs it and gives his assent to it.
Once it's signed, sealed, and delivered.
Persons who have arrears on their vehicle registration for a number of years will be given an amnesty for the rest of the year to come in and cancel their registration. Now, they're going to give us the plates. We're going to wipe the slate clean. They're off the register. Once the repairs are made, then you can basically come back and register it as a new vehicle. But part of the amnesty process until the end of the year is we will wipe the slate clean. If you owe 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 years, it's as if that never happened.
Okay.
But persons have to take advantage of it.
Before the end of this year. Okay. So
we anticipate, and again, I can't put a timeline on His Excellency the Governor as to when he's going to sign off on our laws, but we anticipate that it should happen before the end of this month.
Okay.
If that happens, the amendment becomes part of the law, then there will be an amnesty on all cars with arrears for registration or tax that will be wiped clean. Persons come in, bring us their plates. We erase the board, and then they go home, and when they can afford it, or when they can make that car roadworthy again, they come in and register it as a new vehicle and get to start all over again. So
that's pretty significant.
I think so.
That is pretty significant. And like you say, there is that category of persons that, like you say, just what list.
Yes.
But there are many people that I know that, like you said, whatever happened, they couldn't pay the registration. It backed up every year. It just got worse.
Yes.
Wanting to put the car back on the road in a lot of cases, but then it's like, oh my God, how am I going to pay all of this. When I just got the car fixed and all of that. So now, once this bill is passed into law, there will be. So I just want to make sure I got it right.
Yes.
So once the bill is passed into law, through the end of 2018, persons with essentially arrears for their registration for their vehicle, they come, they turn in their plates, the slate is wiped clean,
Yes.
there is no more arrears connected with that
Yes.
vehicle, and when they are ready, they come and just register it as a new
That's
vehicle.
correct.
Once the vehicle is now becomes roadworthy. And
That's correct. That's correct. Because again, another hurdle is persons who may not have been able to turn in their plates or not wanting to turn in their plates is that a part of the old system was you turn in your plates, but you also write us a check for whatever the vehicle is in arrears. But if you don't have that money, what's the point of going and turning in your plates?
Right.
And again, we can see how that can continue to roll down the hill until that car becomes derelict on the side of the road as an eyesore. So we thought this was a step to prevent those derelict vehicles, but also to recognize that persons do fall into unfortunate financial difficulties.
Yes.
It happens. So we're going to forgive that debt. Once that amnesty is over, one of the things that we also discovered, again through Minister Hughes' ministry, was that one of the reasons why people were also failing to cancel their vehicle registration was the fee. There was a small $25 fee to file an application in order to come in and terminate your vehicle. And there's a thinking, I think quite logical. If a person can't afford his tax for his registration, $25 becomes near and dear, and they can't afford that either.
Right.
So also going forward, once the bill is passed into law, we will remove that $25 application fee to terminate a vehicle registration. So that will also be over. So after the amnesty, those who got a clean slate, good for you for listening to Star.
Yeah.
Those that
Good
didn't,
one.
sorry, but you still get an opportunity to turn in your registration to cancel it without that $25 fee.
So you can just cancel it.
Move on.
Yes.
Another issue that is also tied to the same vehicles with arrears that we've discovered is that once vehicles are in arrears and before they are left to rust, some owners want to recover some money.
Right.
So what they do is they automatically list these vehicles for sale. But they don't tell the buyer that, here's my purchase price, you're getting a really good deal because I'm giving you this vehicle. But when they go to register and license it, they find that they have 3, 4, and 5 years backdating, which in my mind is fraud. And I'm surprised there haven't been any criminal proceedings in the courts for it. Persons who have done it have really gotten off lucky.
Right.
But one of the other amendments is that before a vehicle can be transferred from one owner to the next, another amendment to this bill sought to ensure that any penalties or fees or fines or arrears payments must be settled at the point of that transfer before I give it to you. So, again, I think that reassures,
It helps to protect
returns
the buyer.
confidence in the buyer-seller's market that, there aren't any hidden fees.
Right.
That once this car is yours, the rest is up to you, but you won't be charged penalties for something that you'd had no control over.
And didn't know about.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So that was another significant amendment that we think will work towards reducing the number of cars that are on the side of the road, but also be cognizant of the fact that persons sometimes run into financial straits at no fault of their own, and we're going to forgive certain debt in order to, again, help out those citizens, but also likewise to keep our island clean, at least in terms of derelict vehicles.
Yes, and